State of Decay 2 is clunky, narratively absent, kinda hard on the eyes, and really fun. To put it simply, State of Decay 2 is a really good game with a couple major flaws. But before we talk about the cultural phenomenon that is State of Decay 2, I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't talk about its predecessor, State of Decay 1, or as I like to call it, SOD. Nope. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if you guys remember the phenomenon that was State of Decay. Sure, it wasn't the most popular game of all time and it wasn't flying off the shelves, but it developed a pretty healthy fan base. Nobody anticipated this game being as popular as it was, or one of the most fun zombie games you could ever play. And it hands down was so much fun. Sure, it was unpolished and low-key ugly as shit, but it had character. It had charm. I played this when I was in high school, when my zombie obsession and body odor were at an all-time peak. Dude, I was straight up undomesticated. I was that kid that secretly hoped for a zombie apocalypse. I often thought how I would lead a community of survivors.
You mean me?
What roles would I give my friends? What materials would I prioritize? At what point would we resort to cannibalism? You would be surprised at how fast. This is why I clung to State of Decay. State of Decay got to explore the whole community aspect. So when State of Decay 2 dropped, you'd think I'd be first in line. But during this time, I was going through a somewhat rebellious phase, and I was actively fighting my zombie-loving DNA. I tried to wean off the zombie genre entirely. I focused my attention on different games. I wanted to try other video games and not solely have a library full of undead zombies. I tried Star Citizen. Lesson fucking learned. My hobbit ass did not want to relapse. But recently, I have been hearing the call to come home. Like a mule hearing the bell being rung for dinner, I was called. My zombie itch was becoming intolerable. I wanted all the zombie shit I could stomach. I played all the classics, sure. I even bought Days Gone. Never opened it. Yep, never even fucking touched it. $40. Didn't play it once. After playing DayZ, Project Zomboid, and Dying Light, I had a thought. I felt like something was missing. These games are very fun, and flat out awesome for what they are and what they offer. If you want that adrenaline rush, play DayZ. If you want that creep me atmosphere and struggle bus, play Project Zomboid. If you want to be annoying as shit, play Dying Light. We know it's a good game. Please stop telling us. But none of these games tackled the question I was after. What does it mean to build a community in a zombie apocalypse? I really didn't think I'd find a game that would scratch that itch. But then that weird-ass State of Decay 3 trailer popped up. While yes, it was odd as shit, it did throw State of Decay 2 back in my field of view. And after sinking a decent chunk of time into the game, I have to say, State of Decay 2 is kind of cool as shit. The main reason I and so many others fell in love with this game is because it satiated that hunger for leading a group of survivors and building a base and establishing a colony. Firstly, I want to go on record and say, yes, State of Decay 2 is pretty rad. While there are some aspects of the game that I maybe don't like, for every bad apple, there's at least 3 to replace it. Sure, the game's interface can feel a little strange and also fucking terrible, but opening my car door and splatting zombies literally makes me giggle. SOD throws you right into the fire. Yeah, that's right. I'm bringing it back. I'm not. You start the game with an aimless community, and it is up to you on how you want to lead them. It is your responsibility to lead these survivors into a brighter future or a excruciatingly painful and avoidable death. Ooh, that's the 4th one today. My God. That is the beauty of State of Decay 2. While the map design is dynamic and the combat is super fun, the main reason I and many others stick around and keep playing this game is because of the freedom you are given to lead this community however you see fit. I'm gonna be saying community and colony a fucking shit ton. When the time comes, you pick a leader. Do you want Kane to focus on gathering materials and being self-sufficient and building? Or do you want Spider-Man to conquer and enslave other survivors? Spider-Man? You might think keeping a group together and alive is an easy task. After all, I keep them fed and rested. My job is done. I am the greatest leader anyone could ask for. Thank you. What is this? Morale? Yes, I understand your brother is dead, but I gave you a farm and some beds on the ground. So can you get over it? Despite the game not really caring about story, straight up it does not give a fuck, you really do start to care about the members of your community. You want them to grow, prosper, and specialize their skills. There are outposts you can claim that will provide your base with certain needed materials. This causes me to actively make loot runs and claim outposts, take care of zombies, etc. I will say, however, I know narrative is not super critical for most people, right? You just want to focus on gameplay itself. And I would say the gameplay here is passable, but I do think a lack of a story does somewhat hurt this game. If I care for the survivors now, I can only imagine my heartbreak when one of them dies if they just invested a little bit more storytelling into the game. Not even just that, it would also make combat far more intense and grounded and scary, knowing at any moment I could lose my favorite character. Right now he's my favorite because he has the most stars, but I don't remember his name. It's not that big a deal. I understand this would be very difficult to do. Diving into their backstory and giving them more personality could be exhausting, especially if you keep getting them killed. Which I do. That's why at the start I found myself only playing one character. I thought that was a good strategy to just level up one badass and make him a zombie killing machine. But the game will force you to pick another survivor. Obviously, if you play one the entire time, they will get fatigued or hurt and they need to rest. And this is a good thing because if you lose your top dog, it is a severe handicap to the rest of the colony. Because the permadeath in this game is fucking brutal. If a character dies, ripped to pieces by zombies, there's no coming back. There's no checkpoint. That survivor is dead and gone. Fucking toasted. This aspect of the game makes every single zombie encounter a substantial threat. Because if you make the wrong move, a bad judgment call, accidentally slip up, get your favorite character killed, yeah, that shit's gonna sting. But even despite all this, I am actively making an effort to be the leader I imagine myself to be. Minus the cannibalism. That might come in a future update. That's another thing, and this may go without saying, but for some people that are on the fence about getting this game, you should know it is 90% looting. While that might make some of you nervous, oh, I can't be bored for more than 2 minutes. I don't know why I'm making fun of you. I'm literally describing me. The game does a great job at keeping your heart rate elevated. Whether it's a plague heart that you have to take care of, even if you really don't want to, and it's nighttime, and you've already retreated twice like a bitch, or a wandering horde that will absolutely gank the shit out of you. Also, here's a tip. Don't bring along another survivor. Don't enlist any of them. They will always do more harm than good. I cannot tell you how many times they have given away my position and almost gotten both of us killed. And I swear to God, one day, I will let them eat you. This has a lot to do with the AI in this game, which we will touch on later. The sandbox in this game is really well tuned. There are always new and fun quests that pop up, no matter how fucking insufferable the reminder is. Because of this, you'll never be bored. There are also bounties that you can collect and complete and then trade in for some of the sickest rewards you can get in the game. The dynamics of the game itself changes dependent on whether or not you are a good leader. Ah, I see, there's an infection festering right by our base. It's not too bad. Only, like, what? A couple zombies? Oh, that's a few more. That's a few more, but that's manageable. We could handle that. That's not something I'm afraid. Oh my dear God. If you don't deal with the ever-present threat that is the undead, they will deal with you. And I love that. Think about it. The zombie apocalypse is not something you can just coast through. It takes an active effort to ensure your base is strong and sustainable. The worst thing you can do is remain in a state of decay. Fuck you, I don't care. It's not just regular old zombies either. Even though they are threatening, there are special weird mutant variants of these things. This could range from your classic screamer who screams and draws the attention of every nearby zombie to your location. Or this weird gassy abomination that if you hit it with a car, turns it into a hotbox. There are also these fucking things. I hate these fucking things. Honestly, these are some of the hardest zombies you'll have to deal with. Ferals is what they're called. Appropriate name, by the way. They are responsible for most of the deaths of my characters. I even tried to hit one with melee once. Almost cost me my favorite character. I just could not hit him with my fucking car. Not to mention the insufferable plague variants of these zombies. And if they hit you enough times, or even once I think, a real-life timer pops up on that survivor, and when you get to 0, he's dead. Or actually, he's undead. That's right, he turns into a zombie, but I never let that happen. Killing these creatures and destroying their homes is incredibly rewarding. Yeah, they might be intense and scary, but when you take the fight to them and you splatter them and paint the road with their blood or take away their plague heart bases, it's rewarding and it's awesome. And the loot is almost worth it. Melee in this game is nothing super special. In fact, it's actually quite simple. You hack and slash until your stamina meter runs out. But once that stamina meter runs out, it doesn't feel that simple anymore. Honestly, the best melee in this game is melee with a Nissan Pathfinder. That's right, the car is hands down the best weapon you will get in this game. Splatting zombies is sometimes the only way to effectively clear a horde, and it's fun as shit. But eventually you will have to get out of the car and start swinging for the fences. And when your stamina hits 0, it hits a little different. Low stamina is hands down the biggest killer of players in this game. That and the game itself. What do I mean by that? I will elaborate. You're fighting the clunky-ass interface of State of Decay 2. When I tell you my character will often do shit that I know for a fact I did not command him to do, whether that's just moving weird, swinging too soon, or randomly throwing a fucking grenade at my feet, I feel like I am actively fighting the game itself. And it's not just me, the zombies too. I know they're undead, but the AI seems dumber than dumb. There have been several times where a zombie and I are about to engage in a fight and we both whiff. It's actually kind of a bonding experience now that I say it out loud. The controls are also super finicky, and by finicky I mean straight up ass. I'm making jokes here, but all in all, the controls and the AI are in need of a serious overhaul. I know the game's old. Alright, I'm giving it a pass, alright? I still like the game, but you can't deny that this is one of the weirdest feeling games ever. Why is sprint left bumper? Whose decision was that? Now guns are pretty fucking cool. I would say they did guns the best, and I'm saying that because I personally had the most fun with guns. Shooting Zed heads and just having them pop and explode and blood splatter everywhere as you just unload a rainstorm of lead is the most fun thing about this game. Especially when you get the cooler guns later on, just like the fully automatic shit, it is fun. I think they properly tuned weapons in this game. Yes, guns are pretty overpowered, but the ammo is also pretty scarce, so you really only want to bust it out in, like, emergency situations. Zombies in this game don't really offer that much of a challenge, except yes, they do all the time. I hate playing near an infestation, or at night, or around special variant zombies, or at night. The zombies in this game are weirdly scary, which I did not expect at first glance of this game, because the graphics are not that good. In fact, they kind of fucking suck. So I kind of thought they looked a little cartoony, and I was not expecting being this terrified all the time. Sure, it's not as creepy feeling as Project Zomboid, but you best believe there are several moments where I quit the game, or thought of quitting the game. But I was realizing that I was only really scratching the surface of what this game had to offer. State of Decay understands that yes, it is a zombie survival game, but first and foremost, it's supposed to be a fun game, and they check that box. State of Decay 2 is super fun. It's pretty fucking bonkers. Apparently you can start calling in drone strikes. What the fuck? That's awesome. I haven't gotten there yet, but I will tonight. There's also cool cosmetics in this game. Cool is a strong word. There are cosmetics in this game. Honestly, I am building up the courage to play on the hardest difficulty. No, I'm fucking not, dude. I am really enjoying State of Decay 2. And I'm now officially really excited to play State of Decay 3. I think I slept on this game, and I think that was not fair. And now that I know what it's about, yeah, despite that weird-ass trailer with the zombie deer that hasn't been addressed once, I don't think. I didn't see it in the gameplay trailer. Did we all just forget that there was a fucking deer eating a wolf? I'm actually really excited to see what they do with State of Decay 3. And I will not skip out on this next installment of the franchise. But for State of Decay 2, I think it's on sale. I think you guys would like it. I think it's fun. If you haven't tried it already, pick it up. It's not that expensive. And I think you get a pretty good bang for your buck if you know what I'm saying. Get out of my room.